Lisandrea Vasquez is a comedic star on the rise with more than 1 million followers on social media. This is thanks in part to her daily White House press debriefing videos, and the comedian also making her way here for some shows in Toronto and Bowmanville. Joining us live is the comedian herself, Lisandrea Vasquez, in Atlanta, where I'm sure it's a lot hotter and drier than it is here this morning, Lisandrea. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's always funny when they play a clip ahead of time. I never know which one they're going to pick.
Exactly right. Well, I mean, and there's so much on your social media accounts that there's a lot of fodder to choose from there, Lisandrea. And I've been going through it over the last 24 hours or so. You're making a lot of fun, or having a lot of fun, with Carolyn Levitt or Kristi Noem, kind of taking on their personas, mock questions from the media, or sort of how could they mess with Democrats, etc. What is it that you sort of, because a lot of people are doing political comedy, but what is it that you're trying to find a niche in the comedy that a lot of people see coming from the White House these days?
Well, I find that with the current administration, there's a lot happening in the news cycle, and satire gives us a way into the information without, with a little bit of a break. With the release of laughter, at least my desire to do satire is to hold up a mirror to the ridiculousness that is happening, because it is so extreme.
Satire is a wonderful thing, and so many do it. People do it well, and I've certainly been enjoying your content. Is that what you do on stage, Lisandrea? Because I was going through your Instagram, and I kept seeing clip after clip after clip, and I was watching them. But is that your act, or is your act different than what you're seeing on Instagram?
So I've been a stand-up comedian for a long time. So I live in Georgia, so I don't talk a lot of politics on stage. I don't want to, be on the receiving end of that energy. So I don't. I think being a woman is inherently political anyway. So I do think that a lot of the things are political, but I don't bring up costumes on stage. I'm a classic stand-up comedian in that way. But if somebody likes me and my point of view, they're going to like my stand-up.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about that then, because, you look at a comedian like Bill Maher, who is, self-described liberal. He goes into the red states and he says, the audiences, are okay with that. You've made a different decision here. Is it because of a reaction you initially got, or got a few times, or is it just you've decided I'm going to stay away from politics because I've got much more in my stand-up act?
Oh, I've just always because I've been doing stand-up for a lot longer than I've been doing these particular sketches. So the work that I do on stage is more like a commentary on life and on what's happening around us. I do include some politics in what I talk about, but I do also, for the most part, as a comedian, you can't control who is there, and people do come to comedy to have a release from their daily lives. And so I do try to be aware of that, especially again, here in the South or in America, there's people from all different backgrounds. So I do kind of keep it. Bill Burr is a good example of this, where he will talk about politics, but he will keep it. He has his own opinion. Obviously, he's a very opinionated person, but when he does stand up, he kind of hits at all the sides, which is what I try to do when I'm on stage.
For sure. And do you like to get in, do you like reactions from the crowd and crowd work, or do you prefer to sort of just get your, do your thing, make people laugh, and kind of move on, as you move through your jokes? I mean,
I think crowd work is great to do, but also I think people think that that's what stand-up is because of clips online. But no, of course, if there's, I feel like with me coming up there, since I'm headlining, I'll have a lot more opportunities to engage with the audience than I would normally if I was on a show where we have a tight timeline.
So have you played Toronto and Bowmanville before? And if you haven't, what are your expectations?
No, I've never been there before. I'm so excited. I see people, well, first of all, the Toronto show is almost sold out. And so that's really great. And then Bowmanville, we do have a couple of seats left there. So I don't know. I'm really excited. The feedback so far by Canadians has been really great. Because I think they get my humor. Yeah.
So are you saying you've never been to Canada, Lisandrea?
I've been to Vancouver.
Okay.
Whistler. I went to Whistler for a wedding, and then I also sorry, my dog is barking. But then I also have been to Niagara Falls. But
Okay.
I've never been to Toronto before. I'm excited.
And you're coming during TIFF, so that's an interesting time to be here because we got the film festival happening, so it's going to be packed with celebrities as well. You're going to fit right in, I'm sure. Lisandrea, so in the fact that you haven't been to Toronto, do you incorporate any sort of, like, have you been looking into Toronto, like getting sort of trying to incorporate any Toronto-related jokes at all? Or do you just like, I've got my act, I'm going with my act because I know my fans like what I do already?
I mean, I definitely am doing some research on things. I do think that because I'm from Puerto Rico, so I think my lens being kind of like a fish out of water, moving from Puerto Rico to the States, it's how I view the world. So I'm excited to see what feels different when I get there too, because you can't help but write stuff on the fly when you're in a new environment as a comedian.
For sure, absolutely. Okay, well, listen, safe travels to Toronto. Have a great couple of shows here and in Bowmanville, and good to meet you this morning. Thanks, Lisandrea.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.